Okay, girls, we will go ahead and get started in a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like, feels like to you. If you're not comfortable seated, you may lay down, as my kitty cat has. I think we're going to have a participant. I was actually going to sit on that blanket, but I guess I'm not. So if you do have a hard time, if you have really tight hips, sitting up, elevating up on a blanket will help those knees drop out. So if you want to do that, feel free since we're home. Just find a place to get comfortable, close your eyes, and just take a couple minutes, slow down that body, that mind, and that breath. Clear out that mind and that body. As you inhale, just taking in that new energy that's surrounding you. And as you exhale, letting go of any energy that's not needed in that body and that mind. And as you inhale, just take in your morning. And as you exhale, letting go of any resistance and tension within that body or that mind. Just letting go of anything that's not going to be needed for our practice this morning. Just taking a couple more nice deep breaths, settling in. Next time you inhale, just draw those shoulders up to your ears. As you exhale, press those shoulders back and down. And again, as you inhale, shoulders come up. Exhale, shoulders back and down. A couple more times, up and down. And one more time. And then just pressing those shoulders back and down, lifting and lengthening through the top of the head, and then dropping that chin to your chest. And then slowly and gently rocking that head out side to side. Right ear, right shoulder, left shoulder. That chin passing through center each time. We'll take our right ear over to that right shoulder. Pressing that left shoulder down and away. Just trying to create as much space as you can for the side of the neck. And turning that chin down, tilting it down towards that right shoulder. Take that stretch a little bit different, a little further back. And bringing that chin back up, relax that shoulder a couple more times, rock that head out side to side, right, left, right. And then when you're ready to bring that left ear over to the left shoulder, come and hold it here again. First, start by pressing that right shoulder down away, create some space, keep the chin lifted and back. And again, just turning that chin down towards that left shoulder. And then bringing that chin back, relax that shoulder a couple more times. Just rock that head out, right, left, right. And we're going to bring that chin down towards our chest. We'll let that head hang forward. Take those shoulders, try and push them back and down, stretching out the back of the neck. And then from here, as you inhale, lifting that chin up off the chest and take those hands on your side. You can open those eyes, inhale those arms up, exhale, and just fold forward. So seated forward fold, legs crossed. If you did start off reclining, just come up to seated. And let those hips open up, let that body come forward. Let that back relax. A couple breaths right here. And as we inhale to tighten up that core, lift that head up and all that spine comes up all in one piece. And let's take those legs out from underneath us and just extend all the way through those legs. Inhale, those arms up. And exhale and fold forward. And just taking that body forward, let those legs stretch through the back of the body. We're doing yoga around the kitty today. Make sure we don't disturb him. the back of the legs, the back. And then from here, once again, as you inhale, that belly's nice and tight, head up, and all that spine comes up together. Let's come up onto our hands and our knees for some cat-cows. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees are gonna go underneath those hips. About shoulder width and about hip distance apart. So just find that place, spread those fingers nice and wide, and then round that back and bring that chin in towards your chest, coming into the cat. So as we come here, just hold it for a moment, take a few breaths, pull that belly button tight, tuck that chin in, tuck that tailbone under and down. And then reverse that curl, making our way into cow. Release that spine, lift that heart, lift that chest, gaze slightly forward or up. Keep that belly still nice and tight. You don't want to forget what those abdominals are doing. So keeping that belly pulled in. And then moving through cat, moving through cow, round, reverse. Just taking it through cat, through cow a couple times, at your own pace. We're going to make our way to a neutral spine, whatever that looks like to you. So just let the back go flat, but don't let the belly go. Keep the belly again. You're going to keep the abdominals tight to help support that back. And then from here, we're going to pick up those feet and we're just going to send those feet off to the right and we're going to look over the right shoulder. But keep the knees exactly where they were, but just trying to push that right hip over to the side, a little stretch to the side of the body. All right, and then bring those feet back. Give me a couple cat-cows, realign that spine. And then once again, when you're ready to that neutral spine, pick up the feet and again, just shoot them over to the left, just the feet, and look over the left shoulder. And again, pushing that left hip out to the side, get a little stretch. And then from here, bring the feet, bring the head back. Again, cat-cow. Couple times. And then once again, we're going to make our way back to our neutral spine. And then from here, we're going to be coming into a little bit of spinal balance. So we're going to take the right leg behind us and then the left arm out in front. So just coming to some balance, extend that arm, extend that leg. Try and get that arm directly out in front of that shoulder, get that leg right behind that hip. So come find a place where you can balance and hold. And then if you can, reach back, grab a hold of that ankle, press that ankle to the palm of the hand, push that ankle into that hand and lift that heel away from that body. Try and open up through the front of that right leg. And then from here, just go ahead and release that arm, release, come back into that balance. And then from here, we're going to take that left hand down and we're going to open up. So I flipped around. So you guys might be facing away from me. Just trust yourself to come onto that hand, that left hand, lift that right leg up and take that right arm up. So we're in a modified half moon. So here, try and again get that right shoulder and that right arm above that right shoulder, left hand below that left shoulder, and try and get that leg up in line with that hip. And then from here, just warming up that body a little bit. We're just going to lower that toe and we're going to lift that leg. So just lowering and lifting that leg. So a couple times, lower and lift that leg, nice and slow. And then come back and let's hold that leg here. And then we're going to come down onto that right leg, take the right arm down the right leg and take the left arm and reach over to the right. So now taking another side body stretch, reaching over to the right. If you need any cushion, a blanket's perfect to put onto the ground. And then from here, just go ahead and cartwheel those hands back and back to center. Let's go down onto the forearms before we go to the other side. Give me a couple cat-cows here. So round and reverse, your cat, your cow, a couple times. And And then once again to that neutral spine, and then back up onto those hands. And then this time, sending the left leg back and the right arm out in front. So now coming back to that spinal balance, other side, reaching long, looking down somewhere beside that hand, maybe perhaps a little bit out in front, but trying not to lift that head up to look forward or up. That's a lot of stress on that neck. So just try and find a nice long place. Reach and hold. And then from here, reach back, grabbing that ankle into the palm of the hand. If you can't get that ankle into the palm of the hand, you can always bend that knee, or you could lie on your side. Do this lying on your hip. If you can, grab that ankle, push it into the palm of the hand, lift that heel away, open up through the hip and maybe even through that shoulder. And then let's release that arm, release that leg, and then take that right hand down, take that left arm up, and let's roll to the side. So once again, our modified half moon. Come here, find some balance. And then from here, lowering that toe down. All right, making adjustments today. So just lowering, keeping that toe pointed, and we're just controlling that leg movement. So again, just warming up the leg a little bit, getting a little heart rate up a little bit. And then bring that leg up and let's hold. One more breath. And then let's take that left leg down. Left arm again slides down that leg, and the right arm reaches over to the left. So continue to breathe. Feel that length all the way through the right side of the body. One more breath. And then from here, again, cartwheel those hands down. Bring that knee back, down onto the forearms. Come down and give me a couple cat counts here. A little stretch for that spine. One more time each way. And then once again to that neutral spine, and then hands down, curl your toes, lift your hips, and make your way into your down facing dog. And if it feels good, walk it out. Whatever you need to do to get into your first down dog in the morning. Push back into those heels, lift that tailbone up as we're pushing back. And we're taking that chest and pushing it away from the arms, but keep that head relaxed in between those arms. If you need to, shake it out, do some yeses and some nos. And then let's look towards those hands and walk the feet up to the hands to a standing forward hold. Head, chest, and body coming towards those legs. Lengthen those hamstrings. Lengthen that back, try all together. And also here too, if it feels good, you can walk it out. Whatever. And when you're ready, just hold and hold. And then from here, inhale to a flat back. So make that back nice and flat from the hips to the head. Nice and flat. You can have a kitty cat sitting on top of your back. You can take the hands to keep them on the ground or take them to the shins. Whatever works for you. But I also want you to lengthen those hamstrings and try and push them back. And then also lengthen through that head and try and pull the crown of the head forward. And then exhale, release. Inhale, arms up to the side, head up, chest leads, flat, flat back, up, up, up. We come to standing. And then you come up and bring those hands down around to that heart center. All right, now that we're up, let's go ahead and make sure those feet are about hip distance apart. Just take a nice deep breath, inhale up, take the hands together if you like, or keep them apart, and just click it over to the right. Take a side body stretch. And then over to the left. And back to the right. And then back to the left. And bringing it back to center. And just bringing those hands around and down to our heart center. And then from here, we're going to first just be standing on that left leg and lifting that right knee. So just find some balance here. Try and if you can, take the arms out to the side. Just kind of find some balance. And if you can, extend that leg. And then if you can, bend that knee. So again, just finding some balance. If you need help with balance, find something to hold on to. that's within reach. Just extend and bend a couple more times. Extend, you can move those arms too. That'll make it a little bit harder to help balance. And then we'll come back to that bent knee. And then we take our hands back to our heart center and we're gonna come into our tree pose. So we're still standing on that left leg. Again, if you need help with balance, just get something close to something you can hold on to, or if it's a wall, those are easy to fall into. Walls are great to be able to use, but do what you need. Come find some balance. Find a place for that right foot above or below that knee joint. Draw that knee out and open. Stand up nice and tall. Start with your hands at your heart center. And then if you want to challenge, you can move the arms around. You can even bring the arms out to the side. Open your tree, bring the arms up, whatever works. Just standing up nice and tall, lifting and lengthening through that head, sending all that energy into that left leg. One more breath. And let's bring those hands back. And then let's release that leg. And as we release that right leg, let's cross it over the left. So we've got those feet crossed one over the other. Make sure you've got both feet planted firmly on the ground so we don't lose our balance. As we inhale up, exhale, we'll fold forward. So folding over those legs. And then from here, we're just gonna walk the hands over to the right a little bit. Taking a stretch to the outside of that left leg, that IT band, just walking those hands over a little bit to the right or wherever you need to go to keep a stretch, get a stretch through that left leg. And if you have to bend the knees a little bit to get the hands down, you can, but then just lengthen as much as you can, or you can just take the hands to the legs to hold for balance. Whatever works. One more breath. And then let's take those hands back, just so we're a normal fold. Let's inhale to that flat back. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms out to the side, head up, chest leads, flat back, up, up, up. We come, hands come down around, back up to standing. And then we'll release. You can shake it out, do whatever you need to. Get a little bit balance back. And when you're ready, we're gonna go to that left leg. And as we started before, we're just gonna start with that knee up and those arms out to the side. And again, if you need balance help, don't be afraid to try and hold on to something if you need it. And then again, extend that leg, arms up. And then again, a couple times, bending and extending, and moving the arms or not. Whatever's going to give you a little bit of challenge for that balance. And then once we get that knee bent, once again, bring those hands back to our heart center and then come into your tree pose. Now remember, you want to avoid that knee joint. If you need to keep a kickstand, you can keep that toe down on the ground, lift it up as you can. If you want to pick that foot up and move it above that knee joint, feel free, but find a place to challenge your tree. Take that left knee, open it up, pull that knee out, open up through the hips, stand up nice and tall. And then if you want to change your position of your arms, you can do something that's going to challenge you a little bit. Maybe even do something a little bit different today. If you normally do something, the same thing, try something a little different. One more nice deep breath. Bring those hands back to our heart center. Release that left leg, cross it over the right. And again, before we fold, make sure you've got some good balance with both feet. In a nice position, inhale up and exhale and fold forward. So find your forward fold. And then when you're ready, walk the hands over to the left a little bit, walk the upper body over to the left. And take that nice big stretch through the outside of that right leg. And then from here, walk those hands back to center. Just hold it here for a moment. And then from here, inhale to a flat back. So taking that gaze out over the ends of the feet, maybe out of your mat. And release. Inhale, arms out to the side, head up, flat back, up we come to standing. And bring the hands down around. And then again, release, uncross, shake it out, whatever you need to do. All right, as we'll be making our way down to the ground, make sure you've got some room to move. Inhale and exhale, let's pull forward. And let's inhale to that flat back, looking out over the end of the mat or end of the feet. And then release back to your forward fold. And then hands down, walk or jump into a plank. Into a nice strong plank, pulling that belly in nice and tight. Stay here for a moment. If you need to modify your plank, you can always come to your knees. And even here, we'll get some work for that belly. Hands down the toes. And then from here, before we chaturanga, we're gonna use the toes to push the shoulders slightly in front of the wrists. Slowly lower down, elbows go to the back, lifting up. Let's go to a cobra, little cobra. Lift that chest and release. And then curl your toes, make your way to your downward facing dog. So coming into that down dog, take a couple breaths here. Pedal it out, feels good, walk it out. And then from here, let's lift the right leg up behind you, nice and high. And then bend that knee. I'm gonna swing that leg forward and try and get it all the way forward in between those hands. So coming, and then we're gonna come down onto that knee into a low lunge, release, and let's bring ourselves up. So lifting ourselves up, coming up into a low lunge, got that foot planted firmly on the ground, and we're lifting ourselves up. All right, so as we come here, making sure that knee is over the ankle or a little behind is fine. So you guys can see. All right, so here, that knee over the ankle or behind is always okay. What you want to avoid is having that ankle behind the knee and overstretching in that knee. So right on top, or if you prefer like a wider stance, that's even fine. And then from here, to make our way into lizard, we're going to take the hands onto the inside of that right leg. You can come down onto your forearms if you can get there. So coming down onto the inside of that leg, walk the arms down, depending on that hip flexibility. So walking it down, and you can stay here on that knee. If you want to challenge a little more, lift that knee up off the ground and lengthen that leg. So if you lengthen that left leg, you'll feel a stretch to the front of the left hip. You'll feel some stretching on the inside of the right hip. Just do what works for you. Couple more breaths, inhale, exhale. And then from here, walk those hands out, take on either side of that foot, and make our way up into a high lunge. So inhale, bring ourselves up, coming up into that high lunge just for a moment, and then open up through the hips, drop onto the inside of the back foot, and bend into that front knee into warrior two. So come into warrior two. Right here, we've got that right toe pointed forward, the left toe is to the side, squeezing those shoulder blades together, reaching long with those arms, bending into that front knee. Same thing applies for that knee placement, either that knee right over that ankle or a little behind. Everybody good? Holding it here. All right, my kitty is not going to move. It's like not a willful participant today. Boy, he can. All right, so from here, we're going to make our way into our half moon. And remember, we did this down on the ground on our knee. There's also some handy yoga blocks, which I happen to own. I've been teaching yoga forever. Yoga blocks. But if you don't have a yoga block, you have something like this, maybe a big, heavy book or something, you can always try and use a yoga block or a yoga prop. But if you don't have it handy right now, I'm going to lead you there with and without it. If you had it here, you can use it at different levels. If you don't have any, you should maybe invest in some, because now we're going to keep our legs exactly where they were. The right toe is pointed to the side, and left toe bent forward, and we're just going to push off on that left leg. All right, so we're going to come here, and then as we can, if you can, lift that arm up. So this is where also too, if you have a wall you could stand against, this is a place where you could use that wall. This is also a place where you could use that yoga block. If you're having a hard time getting here, just lift the leg a little bit and then let the leg drop. And then lift the leg a little more, trying to turn that left hip out and open. So try and find that balance. Maybe, maybe not. Take that left arm above that left shoulder, extend that leg. And again, try and find some challenge. Another thing you could do is if you have something to hold on to, easy to hold on and come here. So whatever works. And then if you want to challenge your balance, you can take that hand away a little bit. Whatever works, come and find that place. Lengthen that right leg, make it nice and long, nice and strong. One more breath. And then we're just going to drop that foot back into our warrior two. So we're just going to make a giant step back, come back into that warrior two. So both feet planted back on the ground. And again, front toe that way, back toe this way. Got it? Perpendicular, yes. All right, here we go. Go a little bit of a 90-degree angle. Geometry lesson for Audrey. Squeeze our shoulder blades together and hold here. One more breath, and then we're just going to cartwheel these hands down. Take them beside that foot. Before we go anywhere, just make that back leg nice and long. Remember, we are a lizard. We have those hands on the inside. Just feel here where that little stretch is through the front of that left hip and how that right leg's feeling. And then let's take the right leg back behind you, back into your down dog splits. Send that leg back, ankle forward to your plank. Come hold a three-legged plank for just a moment. And then from here, let's slowly chaturanga, lower down, release that leg, and this time to your up dog, lifting up through the front of the body. Last time we did cobra. This is different. We're lifting using the abdominals, and then curl your toes, lift your hips, and make your way to your downward facing dog. And again, come here. If you're not comfortable in down dog, child's pose is a place you could choose instead. That works. So find what's going to work for you. Down dog is considered a resting posture, but if you don't find it restful, it probably isn't. All right, let's lift that left leg up behind us. Nice and high. Bend that knee. Again, swing it forward. In between the hands is where we're trying to get it. Didn't get there. Pick it up and move it. Come down onto the back knee. Come into that low lunge for a moment. Just come here. See what it feels like to have some balance. And maybe a little bit of instability. Check for those toes. Make sure you can still see without having to go look for them. And you're probably in a good knee placement. Tuck that right hip under, push it forward. And then let's take those hands on the inside of that left foot. And again, coming down, if you can come down onto your forearms, great. If not, just go wherever you can. Lower that chest. Closer to the ground you can go, wherever you can go. And then if you're up for a little bit more challenge and more work, lift that right leg and extend it. So again, not necessary. You can stay down on your knee. If you can, extend that leg, hold it here. If you are extending that right leg up, they'll stretch to the front of the right hip, left hip stretching, and try not to let that knee drop all the way out to the side. Try and hug that knee in towards that left knee, towards those hands. One more breath. And then from here, let's face those hands on either side of that foot. Inhale, come up to a high lunge, just for a moment, and then to your warrior two. Drop onto the inside of the back foot, open the hips, open the arms, and come into that warrior two. Come find that place where you're nice and stable, squeezing between those shoulder blades, bending into that front knee. Remember, that knee placement, look for those toes. Come and hold. And then taking one more nice deep breath, and this is where we're coming into that half moon. And before you go there, stay here for one more moment. As I said before, remember we did this at the beginning here. So if you need to go here, go down to your knee and do that. Do whatever works. If you have any sort of yoga block or prop, you can use that. But again, from our warrior two, from here, all we're going to do is push our body weight forward onto that left leg. And first, find that balance, lift that leg up. And then as you do, lift that right arm up with you. And lift that right leg. Try and get that right arm above that right shoulder. Try to open up those hips. And again, remember, if you need help with balance, the easiest thing to do is if you have something to hold on to, you can use that for your balance. But also too, if you have anything that resembles a yoga block or a yoga block, you could use that to help with that hand, help balance and stabilize. Use these different levels. And hold. Try and find something that's going to challenge. That works. One more breath. And then step back into our warrior two. We need to readjust those legs. Go right ahead. Just come back to a nice, strong, stable place now with both feet planted firmly on the ground. One more breath. And then let's cartwheel those hands down. If you have anything you've been using in front of you, move it out of the way. Send that left leg back behind you to your down dog splits. Come forward to a nice one-legged plank. Coming long and strong and hold. One more breath. And then from here, slowly, chaturanga, release to your up dog. And you're ready to your down dog. You should be good and warm now. Feeling a little challenged, a little balanced. Maybe not. Just hold it here. And then from here, let's come to our knees and sit back into child's pose. Feet together, forehead down, extend those arms, and reach those arms nice and long. Hold it here. Sitting back under those heels, knees are apart, feet together, just wherever it's comfortable for you. And just breathe. And then from here, we're going to bring ourselves forward. And now we're going to come down and lower down onto our belly. A little cobra. We did a little small cobra before. Hands stay right where they were when we landed, underneath the shoulders. If you move, just come back under the shoulders. And then lifting that chest, squeezing those elbows in, using that low back. Just lift that head and that chest. And then lower back down. If you want to go a little further, whatever your back will allow for your back bend. And then bring it down. One more time. Bring it up and hold. And again, we're using those low back muscles to lift that chest, using those elbows in, keeping those legs, trying to keep those legs together, pressing the tops of the feet and the thighs into the ground. And then release. And then from here, we're going to sit back into our child's pose one more time. So come back, give it a quick stretch. From here, go ahead and walk those hands back, side your head slowly, slowly. Let's bring that head up. And then from here, let's go ahead and cross those legs, sit back or take those legs out in front of you. All right, good night, kitty. It's getting comfy. And then from here, we're going to stay seated for a moment. We're going to come into our boat pose. So easiest way to help yourself in your boat is to grab a hold of the hamstrings or the shins and then lean yourself back. We're starting here, and then as you can, lift a leg. If you can, lift both legs. And then if you can, release the arms. And if you can, extend those legs. You can also grab a hold of the legs if you need to in that extension. Do whatever works. Keep that chest lifted, roll those shoulders back and down. Again, you've got lots of options. You even have the option to keep the toes down and just kind of lift. But do something that's going to challenge that belly. Keep those inner thighs squeezed together. Breathe and breathe. One more breath. And then take that momentum forward and fold over those legs. So bring that head, chest, and body down towards those legs. Let that back get a quick stretch. Let that body melt over those legs. We're just going to do that one more time. So bring ourselves up, find that place that challenges you. Again, if you need those mods, take the hands, or if you just want to come back into your boat, squeeze those inner thighs together, roll the shoulders back, keep that head and that spine nice and long. Change it if you want to, challenge it if you need to. One more breath. This time, we're going to release long. Take those hands out over your head and reach, point, and stretch. Take those hands up over your head, reach, point, stretch. Give that body a nice long stretch. And hold it here. All right, getting that belly nice and stretched back. at a time. Alrighty. And then from here, bring those knees into your chest. And then let's come into happy baby. Now you can take the hands to the outside of the arches of the feet. You can grab big toes, whatever works, and just give it a little rock, a little roll. So hands in. You can even take the hands to the inside of the feet, whatever works for you. All right, and then just holding your happy baby. And if you've got and want a little more out of it and you want to stretch those legs, you can extend those legs, stretch those arms also. Just take a second. And then from here, bend those knees and let's release those legs down. And then from here, take those arms up and those hands up so you can see them. And then the right hand's going to grab the left wrist and we're going to pull it over to the right. And then we're going to take the left foot just a little off center to the corner and cross the right leg over. So upper body is going a little bit opposite direction of the lower body, stretching upper end, lower body to back, like maybe a banana curve. And then from here, uncross the legs, bring the legs back, bring the arms up. So bring the legs back to neutral. Left hand grabs the right wrist, pull it over to the left. And again, right leg goes a little bit over to the corner, and then the left leg crosses over. And breathe. And then from here, legs come back, arms come back, and then take our arms down by our side. And then we're going to take those feet a little bit wider than hip distance. Kitty cat, Diego. All right. His name is Diego, by the way, people. All right, so feet are a little bit wider than our hip distance. And then just let the knees drop over to the right. Just let the knees drop over and hold. And bring the knee center from the other side. And people think he was named for, what is it, Dora and Diego or whatever, but my kids never watched that, but he was named, we went to San Diego once, my kids wanted to name him Diego. So there you go. Bring the knees back to center, drop them back over to the right. Now hold it here. If you want a little bit more of an intense stretch, take that right heel and just rest it above that left knee on the outside of the thigh. And then if you put that foot up, release it back down, drop the knees the other way. If that at all bothers your knee, wouldn't suggest you do it, but if you want more stretch, left foot, again, just the heels resting above that right knee on the thigh, pulling that leg over a little more. And then that foot's come up, release it. And now just windshield wiper those feet, those knees side to side, those feet will open and roll to each side, one at a time each way. And then we'll bring it back to center. And then from here, we're just gonna go ahead and hug both knees in, take a loose, strong hold below the knees and just hug those knees in. Circle. First start by giving it a nice big, super strong hug, circle, roll. And then feel what it feels like if you release that hug a little bit and just kind of roll. Circle. And feel what it feels like if you just put those hands, the palm of the hands gently on the knees and use them as a driver to move those knees. So just feeling a little bit different stretch, a little bit different intensity. And then whenever you are ready, we will be making our way into the final minutes of our practice, into our Shavasana. So extend those legs, arms by your side, palms up. Is corpse pose, which is our traditional posture for Shavasana. But if you're not comfortable here, you can come somewhere else. You can also use a blanket underneath your knees if your low back bothers you. But if you're not good here, you can really roll to the side. You can sit up. You can do whatever works for you. Find a place that you can just close your eyes and take just a few minutes of peace and quiet for yourself. Just a few minutes. minutes to let that body and that mind rejuvenate. Just keep those eyes closed and continue to breathe. Slowly bringing some awareness back into that body. You can move those fingers, those toes, hands, feet, arms, legs, or even the head. Anyway, side to side, or bend the knees and windshield wiper them. Or whenever you are ready, bending those knees, feet on the floor, and rolling over onto the side of your choice. Anyone who's pregnant should go left. Everybody else choose a side. Remain here for a moment, letting a little bit of blood flow come back to that heart and that head. Do not set aside your happiness. Do not wait to be happy in the future. The best time to be happy is always now. And again, that quote is, do not set aside your happiness. Do not wait to be happy in the future. The best time to be happy is always now. And that's a quote from Roy Bennett. When you're ready, use your outside arm, push yourself back up to a seated position, slowly coming up back where we began. Just take yourself upright and seated for just a moment. And as we work on our happiness a little bit today, hopefully this makes you happy, and us being happy just means that we can make others around us happy also. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week. Namaste. Thanks, you guys.